At first, the job sounds like a joke. You sit in a gray office on the 14th floor of a building with no name on the front. Your desk has a computer, a headset, and a mug that was already there when you arrived. Nobody explained who left it. Your manager, a quiet woman named Dara, hands you a laminated card on your first morning. It says, "Do not interfere with anchored events. Do not accelerate terminal sequences. Log everything." She doesn't explain what any of that means. She just says, "You'll understand by lunch." Your job title officially is Probability Coordinator, entry level. You manage a queue of assigned individuals. The system calls them cases. And your task is simple on paper. Monitor their luck index, flag anomalies, and make micro-adjustments when the index drifts too far outside baseline. Think of it like a thermostat, Dara says. You're not controlling lives. You're maintaining temperature. The interface loads 32 names on your first morning. Real people. You can see their current luck score, their recent event history, a stream of incoming probability nodes, small decision forks in their immediate future that the system has flagged for optional adjustment. Most of them are trivial. A parking space appearing 1 block closer, a bus running 2 minutes late so someone catches it, a phone battery dying before a call that would have caused an argument. You adjust a few. The system confirms each one with a soft green pulse. You feel almost nothing. It's like moving files between folders. Then you notice the scores. One case, male, 34, flagged as routine maintenance, has a luck index sitting at 0.3. The baseline is 5.0. You've never seen a number that low. You hover over his event stream and watch. Every node that appears in his queue is gray. Gray means the system has locked it. You can't touch it. He's scheduled to miss his train, spill coffee on a job application, and receive a medical call he's been waiting on, all in the same afternoon, and none of it is adjustable. You type a note to Dara. Case 7 seems stuck. Is this normal? She replies in 11 seconds. Some cases are in correction cycles. Leave them alone. You leave him alone. But you watch. And by 3 p.m., everything the system predicted happens to him. In order, exactly as listed. You feel something shift in your chest that you don't have a word for yet. It gets worse after your first week. They give you access to Tier 2 cases. More complex individuals. Higher sensitivity scores. These are people whose luck index affects adjacent cases. Their decisions create ripples that touch 10, sometimes 20 other people on someone else's queue. You have to think 2 steps ahead now. Adjusting one node for a Tier 2 case means checking downstream impact on their network before you confirm. You make your first mistake on a Thursday. You boost a small node for a woman named E. The system only shows initials, RC, because her index has been dropping for 6 days, and your protocol says to intervene at day 5. You give her a green light, a delayed subway that puts her in the same car as a contact she's been trying to reach for months. Clean adjustment. Textbook. What you didn't check was her adjacent map. That contact was already assigned to a different coordinator's case. The meeting you created wasn't in either case plan. The system flags it as an unscheduled convergence. Your supervisor calls you directly. Not Dara. Someone above Dara, whose name you haven't heard before. He's calm. That's the part that stays with you. He's completely calm when he tells you that unscheduled convergences between Tier 2 cases require Level 3 clearance to authorize, and that you've just created a node chain that 3 other coordinators now have to manually resolve before end of day. You didn't cause a disaster, he says, but you need to understand something. At this level, good intentions are not a variable we can account for. You write that down. Now something is wrong. Not with a case, but with you. You start seeing the queue differently. You used to look at the names and think of the adjustments as gestures, small kindnesses, a parking space, a green light, a call that connects. But now you understand what the laminated card meant. Anchored events are things the system has decided must happen, regardless of the index. Terminal sequences are what they sound like. And logging everything means that every choice you make is being reviewed by someone above you whose job you don't fully understand yet. You start asking questions. Not to Dara. You start looking at the architecture of the system itself. You request access to your own case history, the full log of every adjustment you've made since day one, and you study it at night, after hours, on your personal screen. That's when you find the pattern. Every coordinator has an individual performance index. Yours is tracked by a metric called net outcomes. Net outcomes measures not just whether your adjustments worked, but whether the cumulative effect of your cases improved the aggregate luck of their adjacent networks over time. And buried in the historical data, across 5 years of coordinator logs, is a finding that nobody mentioned in your onboarding. Coordinators with the highest net outcome scores have, on average, the lowest personal luck indices of any employee group in the building. The system balances. You sit with that for a long time. What would you do with that information? Would you keep working the queue, knowing the cost? Would you look for a way around it? Would you ask Dara if she knows? You decide to ask Dara. She listens. She doesn't look surprised. She sets her coffee down and says, "Everyone finds that eventually. The ones who stay do it because they decided the math is worth it. The ones who leave." She pauses. Their cases get redistributed. You look at your screen. 32 names. Small green pulses. A bus running 2 minutes late somewhere in the city because you decided, this morning, to make it so. You realize too late that understanding the system fully doesn't make the choices easier. It just makes you responsible for them in a way that can't be undone. You open the queue. You start the next adjustment. If you could control one moment of luck in your own life, what would it be? Leave it in the comments. And if this job made you feel something, share it with someone who needs a little better odds today.